Welcome to Olympian Cares, giving the best in water testing and analysis. Today we're looking at the Department of Health, New York State, and looking at lead testing of school drinking waters. Understanding the laws and regulations are very important when it comes to this, whether you're in a big city like New York, Manhattan, or in a rural area. So New York State laws and regulations require all public schools, districts, and Board of Cooperative Education, BOCS, to test drinking water for lead contamination. They must also take action if the lead exceeds the actionable threshold, if any fixture exceeds the lead action level, 50 micrograms per liter. It must immediately be taken out of service until actions are taken to mitigate the lead levels. Schools must notify staff, parents, and guardians of students in writing when outlets exceed the action level indicating contamination. They also need to maintain test results on their websites, and plumbing materials may add lead to the drinking water as well. So make sure to factor that in. If they put in a new pipe, even if it is new, there could still be issues and it could still have contaminants coming from that. The materials include pipes, new brass facets, and fittings, as well as valves, including those advertised as lead-free. Water not consistently in use runs the risk of having higher lead levels if the plumbing contains lead. This is why it's important to identify and address elevated levels of lead in drinking water in schools, as part of reducing a child's overall exposure to lead in the environment. There's also information for families. You can find lead test results on the health data in New York by searching the Lead Reporting Interactive System. So if you're in a big city, if you're in a place that has a lot of issues with lead or potential problems with testing in that, it's a good idea to check on that. There's also information for schools, and the regulation subpart 67 for lead testing in school drinking water requires the school districts and BOCS to perform lead testing in 2016, 2020, and at least every 5 years thereafter, or at an earlier time as determined by the Commissioner of Health. How does testing and remediation work? The public schools and the BOCS must test all water outlets that are used or could potentially be used for drinking and cooking by students. Watch, and you can see this video right here to understand how that's done, and it shows how to sample for lead in school drinking water. You can also refer to the simple sampling referencing guide. Schools also have to use a laboratory that is approved to perform lead testing in potable water by the Department Environmental Laboratory Approval Program, ELAP. And they can find a certified lab for doing so. Following any lead action level exceedance, the school has to take remedial actions to mitigate the lead level at the exceeding outlets, and they may be posted on those outlets as well. And for reporting, schools are required to report lead results to the public, the local health department, the NYSDHOA, the Department of Health, Education Department, and reporting lead that exceeds the action level to the public. And to report the tests and other required information, the Department of Health and the Education Department have to complete the school lead and drinking water reporting using their electronic reporting system called HERDS. So that's how the reporting works for lead testing of schools. And that's very important to know. Now the issue is that if there's lead in schools already, that can be harmful to students, harmful to the children, harmful to their developmental programs, and it can be harmful to the teachers as well. So it's always a good idea to periodically test your school for any lead contamination in the water.